So much for watching his workload, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's we actually had that conversation in spring training, not this year, but last year, about if these guys get to the point of attempting to throw a no-hitter, the pitch count goes out the door. So we had already established that rule. I was just concerned. I think he had 85 after 6. I was really counting the pitches at that point, especially in a lopsided game like that, scoring-wise. However, you never want to interfere with somebody's greatness, and that's really special for him and for the organization to have another no-hitter being thrown. So as a manager, you try to stay out of the way of those moments. He didn't have his best command early in the game. He had great stuff. The command wasn't there. That's why the pitch count was so high. Normally, he was able to pound the zone more frequently and would have been able to complete that with less pitches. So that was part of the issue. However, stuff was fabulous. I mean, Ross even came back and said it's moving all over the place. It's just not where he wants it to be yet. So give him credit, man. And game over, the first thing I wanted to let him know was nice job of hitting. Yeah,
you put in Caesar for defensive purposes in the 7th. When did it start to really cross your mind that this could happen again?
Yeah, about you actually at that 85 pitch mark. Whenever that was after 6, right? We talked about, was that after 6? I was right about that. Yeah, so I was counting the pitches pretty well, and so it's pretty viable at that particular juncture. That we got to get through that thicker part of the batting order. Not like the other guys aren't good major league players. But I'm just saying we had to get through Votto and Phillips and Bruce, etc. And then it becomes more likely. Then he's got some righties towards the bottom. So I mean, with that, of course, the other part was do you hold people back in case there is a hit, so you get people off their feet. That was also something that I thought about too. But once Soler got the at bat, then it was like a perfect time to make the switch.
Do you see him lock in after 6? Because it only took 9 pitches in the 7th, 9 pitches in the 8th. He got better.
Yeah, no, he did. His command got better, game in progress. Like I said, I thought early on he was really fighting it. He was actually better out of the stretch than out of the windup, had more consistent delivery and knew where the ball was going better. But then he kind of corrected it. I thought the latter part of the game it was better. The last inning, he just over-boogied a little bit with the guy that he walked. But overall, man, he primarily fastball. Slider was really good, as it normally is. Threw a couple of hooks. I think he struck out Bruce on a really good changeup. That was a nice pitch because he was not expecting it. What can I say, man? I mean, it was spectacular. And then I hate to switch gears, but the offense was pretty good today too. I mean, it was. That's something everybody's talked about our offense, but if you look up at the board, the batting averages were relatively low. But we keep talking about the quality of the at bat. Eventually, it's going to, we're going to be able to start hitting the ball like we're capable of. I mean, Addison Russell might have had the best night of all. He had nothing to show for it with all the line drives that he hit that were caught. And then beyond that, I just want to make mention David Ross. Catching a no hitter. You talk about pitching a no hitter. Catching a no hitter is very special too. And that's something he's going to be able to carry with him. He does a wonderful job. He had a great day at the plate. On top of that, did I read that it was his first no-hitter that he's caught? So that's really, that's just because this guy is always given to the pitchers and everybody else, every team he's played on. He's so good back there, so I'm really happy for him too. Over here.
You've said he's a little different than most in the dugout. You can talk to him, obviously.
Jake?
Yeah, Jake. Mm-hmm. No-hitters are a little different. But what was he like? What was the...
Normal. I mean, he had so many at-bats, he kept coming back, and I was just talking to him, early on in the game, I said, go ahead and swing. I want you to swing early in the game. Latter part of the game, once we had the lead, he just went up there and took his at-bats. Kept giving him the fist pump coming off the field like we normally did. I didn't want to change any of that, but there was really nothing to say. I wasn't going to ask him, how you feeling? You think you can do this, all that kind of, I just let it ride and watched it very closely. I didn't get anybody warmed up. Didn't want to throw that negative vibe out there. And if the hit had been gotten, but attempted to delay as much as I could to get somebody hot as quickly as possible. Cool? Yeah, you need to talk to Jake.